Hi, good. Hello and welcome. This is Krishna Priya. This is the Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 10th of June, 2023. And we have today our special guest with us, Will Mitchell. He's going to be channeling. We'll be taking questions from from the YouTube room, as well as the room here in Zoom. And we're going to start off with some announcements, and then we'll do a blessing and we'll get going. And sorry for the late start, everyone. Okay, go ahead, Angie. And the reason I'm not on camera is because I really have a bad cold and you don't want to see that. You don't want to see me. So, okay. What are you sharing there, Angie, on your screen?
I am sharing a flyer for the Hucolo Starseed Gathering. It will be Thursday, August 8th through Monday, August 12th, 2024. The cost will be $6.95 a person. If you're interested or you want to register, send an email to classes@hucolo.org. We will be staying at the Onondaga Park in Canandaigua, New York. This is the park and the place that lodging that we'll be staying with. We're right on the camp, or the park is right on the lake. The itinerary, understanding your lineage out of sight of Earth. We're going to be doing oneness activities, connecting with your starseed family. We're going to have some channeled classes, sharing information, light code activations, nightly campfires with channeling around that, all meals included, and much more.
Oh, wonderful.
And so again, if you're interested in that, classes@hucolo.org.
Perfect. Okay, so if you would like to do a blessing, that would be fantastic. And then we'll go to Will.
Thank you.
I can do the translations.
Perfect.
Du uchcha ta nuara tiki, nuhura ora satara inia taka ochuchu. Du ura ia takana otaka ora asana achk ani, bo ora sar ladako tukuchu.
The time is now when you are ready. Your work is waiting for you. Your heart center is calling you to step up. The earth needs you.
All right. And I'm going to just go off camera for one moment, and then we'll be back on in the main seat.
Perfect. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Ding. Da, 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 da. I thought there should be some music between. Da, da. That's Jeopardy, though, isn't it? You have to come back with some amazing fact. Did everyone in the YouTube chat or anyone see the article about the supposed alien ship that landed in or crash landed in Vegas, and then some alien beings were running around in these people's yards, and when they looked at them, they said they were frozen in place. They couldn't move when they were looking at them. They were about 10 feet tall with big eyes and big mouths, but no violence happened. Just they were just there, and then they were not there by the time the police came. But a lot of people witnessed the light coming down out of the sky. Okay, Will, welcome. Nice
Hello.
to have you back. Can you tilt your camera down, because we really only have you from the chest up, like really low chest or high chest area, or you can, yeah.
You can try more. I don't know how to do it.
That's better. Yeah. It was just a little bit too high. So yeah.
Does the chair go up? It is what it is. Angie's up here like this.
Yes, it's true.
I'm going to go into not control of my
You
body.
can
So
see your hands if you lift them. No problem. You look great. Very clear picture. All right. Whenever you're ready. Go ahead.
Greetings.
Greetings.
One moment.
Sure.
That is much better. I am, as you might know, Helios.
Welcome, Helios.
I am the sentience inside your star. I come to talk to you today about the light inside of you and intention, your intention. When I first came to this solar system, before it was a solar system, I came with intention to help elevate consciousness, to help guide consciousness, to go beyond what it was before. Many other beings have used my name, and I have many names. But the one that you are dealing with today is pure consciousness through the center of your, as you call it, sun. By bringing the light from the sun, there are gentle reminders with the light codes, with the solar flares. There are bursts of energy that your physicalities both need and desire. We are actually communicating together the collective consciousness of Earth and the purpose of the collective consciousness and the desires of where it wishes to go, along with the intention of the light of the sun, which was to help bring this consciousness to new levels. There is really no direction. It is all up to us together on where we wish to go. But there are ascended thought forms that we can develop together. This petty bickering on your earth it's useful for you to understand what you like and don't like, but it's not useful for anything else. I'm very sure that all of you know what you prefer. And you light workers out there, you are doing great work, but there is more light inside of you, and there is more light around you, and there is more light on this earth that you can tap into and bring forth and help elevate the consciousness beyond the petty bickering, beyond the differences of these opinions that really don't serve. The light codes, the solar flares, the sun cycles, they're all a part of the cycles of the universe that are affecting this galaxy, this solar system, and your thought processes, your healing abilities, your ability to use the powers that are innate in the human being and that are just dying to come out. Whether you look at the sun, whether you are gaining nourishment from the sun, like breatharians do. They connect with the breath, they connect with the light, and they receive all the nourishment for their cells this way. You can do the same thing. You can still eat the nourishment of the planet. But the information and the energy that is received, you can expand upon that. You can bring it forth through your speech, through your thoughts, through your heart, through your love, through your compassion, all of these things that can be brought through. There are many nuances with solar flares and the cycles of the sun, sunspots, and the light codes that actually come to Earth. How you use them, how you bring them forth, how, whether you are calling in orbs of light, whether you're calling in lightning strikes, whether you're calling in solar flares, they're all for the benefit. Do we have any questions at this point?
We do have some questions, but not pertaining to exactly what you're talking about. So if you wish to continue your thought,
Okay,
then we can pick it up when you have when you're open for sort of more general questions.
there are many here that have been here for thousands and thousands of years and many, many, many lifetimes that have learned of the light codes and have learned of the vibrations of light and the higher dimensions of the vibration. And many are already using these codes to activate DNA, to create portals, vortexes, enhance the grid system of planet Earth, and have done so in many different civilizations. Let us open it up to more general questions then. I sense an urgency on certain topics.
Well, there's a question from the YouTube chat, and it's from Solaris, and he says, and I'm assuming Solaris is a man, but he says, would someone be able to talk about the UFOs that have been appearing in the recent news? And maybe like the one I said, May the 1st, but I know there's been others, and as well as the whistleblower David Charles Grush. I don't know what, but he wants to know what's going on with the recent spate of UFOs coming in.
Excellent. There are no beings here in the room that would like to talk about that. So maybe that's a better question for another week.
Okay, then the Mavith has requested Lord Vishnu and Archangel Raphael, but since you are consciousness, maybe Mavith, you can ask your questions that you would have for Vishnu or Raphael to Helios. If I'll just give him a moment because he's typing.
May I ask a question?
Sure, of course.
So you were talking about the energies and the light codes and the energies that you bring and send to the earth for us to bring in. And these light codes are there. If we're not aware of how to draw them in or how to bring them in, how to activate them within us, what can we do to do this? How are the solar flares affecting the human body?
For the first question, these light codes were pre-programmed to release at certain time intervals. And these light codes are triggered by the consciousness, the desire of the collective consciousness of planet Earth. To receive the light codes, you simply need to go out into the light and receive them. Step 2 is to be open to it and listen, feel the light codes, whether you speak light language, whether you are working on any particular project to help humanity, any thoughts that are open-minded will receive the light codes. And if you wish to interpret them, set your intention to receive what's needed for you to bring forth. Each person will receive the light codes in the manner that will best suit them or serve who they are serving. As they receive them, information will come forth for them to bring forth or for them to integrate into it. It is very difficult to say exactly what each person's going to receive. I can tap into each individual consciousness and see how they are using the light codes, because it is a cooperative effort. Does that answer the first question?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically just a form of meditation, going out into the sun and meditating in the sun with intentions to either receive the light codes and have them come into the body in its own way, necessary for this life, for the individual.
Well, meditation is a higher form of integrating the light codes. One can just stand there in the light codes with the intent of receiving, and that is simply enough. And walking in the light codes, being joyful in the light and in the warmth of the sun is plenty to receive it. One might not know what they are receiving, but deeper in meditation, one can interpret what these light codes are doing for them and how to bring it forth. By interacting with the light codes and asking questions to the light codes, a deeper and richer meaning can come forth from them. Whether it's activating cellular activity, whether it's increasing brain function for the certain individual, whether it's increasing blood flow, neural response. There are so many benefits to various light codes. And by one who is a teacher or a speaker of consciousness or light or healing, however you want to call it, receiving those codes will make it easier for that information to come out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And what was the second part of your question again?
The solar flares, how does it affect the human body?
Well, there are many, many different things because it is a large burst of physical energies. Many are aware of the disruption of this computer network and communications because the energy fields aren't convergent, they're divergent. They're not at a harmonic point where the waves come together. So it disrupts the communication, and it can, very large solar flares can actually disrupt computer and electronic equipment. Yeah, damage it permanently because of the inferior class of computer and technology equipment that Earth has at this point. The dependency upon this communication technique and the silicon and the other things inside the electronic devices can be improved by receiving the light codes. If scientists of sufficient consciousness go out and receive the light codes, they will receive information on how to develop better, more enhanced electronic equipment that can withstand the energy of the solar flares, because this physicality of the solar flares at times is harmful to the DNA, but most of the time it is not. It is that it is a large burst of information to affect a larger mass of the collective as a hand up. Let us step up. Here is the new plan that the whole consciousness has agreed upon, and here is the energy you need to fulfill your part in that. Think of it as a picnic where you all come together and bring a dish. And that wave of energy is that inspiration and the ability for you to make your dish, then you bring to the picnic and you all communicate together more effectively, and you bring more information and more energy to that collective gathering. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There's another question in you.
But let's move on to the Mavis.
Okay, the Mavis has a question, but I actually have a question about light codes. So can I just jump ahead?
Please do.
Some people don't know what a light code is. Can you explain what a light code is?
A light code is a term that this channel uses about vibration that comes from light, whether it comes from the sun or whether it comes from other forms of light, whether they're photons from the central sun or glimmers from any of the stars at night. There are vibration and there's information in each of those vibrations. And the short term is light code. So it's a way of describing information that one can receive. Does that answer your question?
Yes, so people can just look up at the stars or look up at the sky and see the twinkling lights and be receptive to the energy that's being transmitted. Is that basically it?
Yes, but besides energy, there's also information. It's like talking to a friend, okay? And there's information that's coming from this star, since we're talking about the twinkling of a star. There are main themes around each star that are built into either, the various forms of astrology, but there's also information that comes outside of those ideas that are built into your astrology systems. Each individual will, if they look up at the night sky and they see one of the brightest stars, Venus, there are so many themes in the human mind about what the light from Venus means. But if one can set those down and listen to what those and feel what these light codes are, they will bring new meaning to the meaning of Venus, or new meaning to what they can do, how they can bring that information forth. They can interplay with the predefined themes of Venus, if one so desires.
Okay, thank
Does
you
that
very much.
answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It was just that someone asked me the other day what light codes were, and I had a hard time explaining them. So I thank you for your explanation. Okay, the Mavis has Angie, go ahead. Yeah, sorry, Mavis.
Yes, in regards to light codes, we can receive those light codes, but what is light code activations?
An activation is the individual being, the individual who's receiving the light code, receives the information, and their cells, their brain, their cells, any part of them knows what to do with this information and basically hands them the keys to certain abilities or certain knowledge that is built inside them. The activation is you have this information already inside you, okay? And the key just unlocks it. This activation, empowers it. It's very similar to magnetic levitation that you have, or sonic levitation. It's just that the cells now vibrate, or the atoms vibrate at a certain resonance, and therefore defy the laws of physics or enhance the interplay with the laws of physics, especially with the sonic levitation. But it does things that the mind thought was impossible, if you understand.
I do, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. The Mavis has a question, and he says, if a human is a creator being, they have a larger pillar of energy. Why would other people drain the energy of a creator being?
I have several answers for this. First is the perception of the pillar of light around you, the perception of its largeness is purely interpretational, okay? Meaning a creator being has a consciousness that is able to see that the beam of light around them is larger. That's one, okay? Please do not put a higher value upon the label of creator being versus, let's call it, normal human being, okay? Each is contributing to the consciousness of planet Earth, the collective consciousness, in their own way, in equal value, in equal vibration. They're just doing different tasks, okay? Some are harvesting wheat, some are picking up and taking away garbage. Everyone has a value. Now, the creator being came to Earth with a different mission, a different intention. It came to enhance the creations of planet Earth by both modeling the creative behavior and by creating the things that are necessary for planet Earth, for the consciousness, for the ascension, for everything to do with this planet Earth. Does that answer the question? I think there's one thing missing. Can you help me?
One moment. Does that answer the question, Mavis, or not? His question was, why would other people drain it? But he said, yes,
Oh,
it
yes,
does.
that was it. That was it. So other people drain it because they can, okay? And the creator being who feels like they're being drained is perceiving it as being drained. They can embody more of their creator being essence and produce more light and more energy and more creative force than anyone could ever consume. So therefore, I propose to the creator beings out there that feel like they're being drained, up your game. You know of the infinite source of light. You know of the creative power of it. Widen your channel. Flood the earth with light and creative force, and you shall not experience any more drainage. You are here to serve. You are here to create. Do so. Open the floodgates. Does that answer your question? Create.
Give him one moment to respond. Yes, he says, thank you.
Because they're taking it because they need it. They're taking it because they're exploring different themes of consciousness on planet Earth, all based on free will, okay? They are choosing to take instead of create. They're a part of this whole scheme of how all the various ideas interplay. You can help them out more by producing more, and then they won't feel like they have to take. And if you tell them with the light energy that they're receiving. We'll call it receiving at this point. If you set your intention to give it freely, they can't take it from you. Understand? And then they see it as a gift, and it will affect them way more than them having to steal it. Does that make sense?
Yes, he says yes. So thank you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you. There's a question from Radha. Go ahead, Radha.
Yes. Hello. Greetings.
Greetings.
So, Asil Toksal, who channels the Elohim, talks about an energy called the love of creation. Could you tell us a little bit more about where this energy comes from, what's its purpose, and how we may utilize it in our day-to-day lives?
The love of creation is the most basic energy of all. It has many names, but there is really only one force in the universe, and that is love, and that is the creative force. This idea of time, one thinks that things are changing or things are being destroyed and created, but the truth is that everything is being recreated or created anew in every moment. So this creative love, the love of creation, that is what we were talking about with this column of light and tapping into the infinite source, is that by being and feeling the love of the universe and tapping into that aspect of the light and allowing it to flow freely, that is the creative force. And seeing what you wish to create is the best way of doing it. By seeing the love that needs to be presented, this creative love force that is the life force energy. Many have been talking about it for centuries and centuries, this ability to bring forth, just listen to your heart, because your heart is connected to it. That's where your joy, this is where this love comes from, and this allows it to come out freely. This creative love energy helps you as an individual, or one who thinks that they are an individual. Helps one connect to the collective consciousness, helps one connect to the perception of what you see and what is needed and what can be created and what one wants to create or should be created. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So remaining in our heart and feeling the love will automatically transcend us to utilizing that energy for what we want to create.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you very much. Blessings.
Blessings.
Thank you. Okay, there's a question from the chat. It's from Bola, and she had said she would love if there's any messages from the Eldorians. I don't know if you can connect with them, but she says maybe around the collective grids collapsing or opening up in this timeline in different parts of the world.
There's Eldorian light here, not necessarily a consciousness. So let's say, but let me tap into the vibration of the Eldorian light in regards to the grids collapsing. Okay, the Eldorian light codes are harmonizing around the idea that you see it as a collapse instead of a rebuilding or an indication of what is needed. Because anything that is a collapse is creating a vortex, an inward vortex of need. And it's attracting all the energy to that so that it can rebuild and get back to stasis. Because that's what this grid system on your planet is about, is one, creating stasis, creating peace, creating harmony, which then allows creation, ascension through the creation of love. Does that make sense?
She's in the chat, so, but I'm gonna say yes.
So send energies to these places where you see it as a collapse of the grid. Also send it love, send it light, because this collapse really isn't a collapse, it's a rebuilding. It's attracting the new energy for ascension. It's simply an attraction point.
Okay, thank you very much. There's another question from, let me make sure there's nobody else in the room. Okay, there's another question from Nancy, and she says, I understand that the 24th strand of DNA is a collective strand. Does humanity need to reach a certain frequency to activate that strand? If so, what is humanity's frequency now? And what frequency does humanity need to reach to activate the 24th strand of DNA?
So the question I have for you, because I'm sensing that this 24th strand is a goal that many are placing a higher value on this 24th strand than what you currently have. The fact that you have it as a goal, you are keeping it out of reach of yourself. There are, just like light codes, just like DNA strands, they activate when you are ready. Your energy field in your body is reorganizing your DNA in every moment. And you're rebuilding your DNA and the new strands of DNA that you are ready for. By reaching for the 24th strand or saying that I need the 24th strand is only keeping it away from you, and it is confusing the rest of your energy system inside your body as to what to create and how to reorganize your DNA. Hopefully that makes sense. So to help you achieve your goal, if you set your intention and you focus your awareness inside your body and you feel the different aspects of your body and your energy field, because your energy field is a part of you, okay? One must go out into the subtle energies of your aura as well as your body to see what is needed or to see what will help the most. What needs repair, where energy needs to go, or what will help bring out this creative love force in you. By focusing on the creative love force or by focusing on harmony inside, what will bring harmony inside your body, those DNA strands, those DNA codes will activate. Attempting to reach for the 24th strand when one is not ready for it will only cause confusion, will cause distress and dis-ease and non-alignment, and it will not serve you. Seeing that 24th strand and going, thank you, will help way more than saying, I want that or I need that.
She makes the comment, oh, it's individual, because earlier she'd asked if it's collective. Is the strand collective or individual?
It's both, because you are a part of the collective. And each of your strands, each of the various combinations in your DNA strands are both individual and collective. The activation of certain DNA sequences enable other strands to to coalesce is the better term, because each of those elements inside your body will then start to create the other strands of DNA and connect with the collective. Whether or not there are individual values inside the 24th strand. There are collective values in that. So it is not purely collective. That 24th strand will reach the highest realms. And by purifying yourself of thoughts that do not serve, and by purifying yourself with actions that do not serve, one can better reach that 24th strand, because it is the highest strand of physicality. And one is able to create it and activate it and interact with it when one's consciousness is ascended enough. Does that make sense?
I would assume it does. I'm just going to give her a moment because of the delay of the.
Humans will receive what they need when they are ready for it. That is the easiest way to say it.
Seem very clear.
Or better yet, you have everything you need in this moment, and you are creating / attracting everything you need in this next moment.
She makes the comment. She said, yes, thank you. This is brand new information channeled by Lee Carroll last week in Sedona, that the 24th strand is collective. Thank you. Okay. And she says that she sees what you're saying. There's a question from Bola. She says, could you elaborate on specific activation? Excuse me, can you elaborate on specific activations embodied in the light codes of elements of water, air, fire, and earth for major elements?
Yes. Bola, already know this answer. And I'm stating it because you intuitively know the answers to it, and many of you out there already know the answers. We shall talk about them for the collective. There's many that understand the density of the earth element, the density of the water element, the density of the fire element, and the not so density of the air element. At this time in the northeastern United States and in the many regions in Canada or anywhere where you are experiencing wildfires and the smoke from the wildfires, you have a very unique opportunity to receive powerful aspects of both Eldorian and Kalindi light codes. how you resonate with the various types of light, and even the twinkling of the Venus light codes, or the Altarian light codes, or Aldebaranian light codes. All of these light codes are enhanced because in your atmosphere at this point, with the smoke from the wildfires, creates all four elements in your atmosphere in a very dense and useful manner. So the codes of light are then coming through the vibrations of the four elements that are existing on planet Earth, so that the recipients can understand how to utilize the earth, the water, the fire, and the air better, and create more things, to heal better, to talk about consciousness better, to model behavior in such a way that it will help elevate the consciousness of the planet. Earth is dense. Nutrients, the physical nutrients come from the earth. Earth can be molded, it can be shaped, but it is difficult. It is more difficult to do so because it is the most dense of the elements. So light codes that come through earth elements, meaning dust particles, are earth elements. And there are many other aspects that are up into the clouds, because the clouds cannot form without aspects of earth. And they help ground information, they help ground the light codes, they help stabilize the light codes for the interpreter, the viewer, the observer of the light codes, the receiver of the light codes. And it helps utilize and realize the information from the light codes in a much quicker manner, because they know how to bring it into this physicality. All these things are happening subtly, okay? So it's not going to say, oh, I know this because there's a lot of dust in the air through the light codes. You may, but you may not. Water is flowing. Water takes the easiest path. So using the light codes through the water enables us to utilize the same information in many, many, many different situations, helps us find the easiest way to apply them, activate them, and to realize them. So both together, the water and the earth, helps us realize into the physicality this idea of water and fluidity and
No,
yes.
I'm so sorry. There's a dog was biting my foot, and I was saying,
Excellent.
thank
He's trying to give you information.
you. Yeah, my foot is delicious. Sorry to interrupt.
And the fire is inspiration. The fire is change. The fire is less dense than water. Water flows towards the gravity. It flows towards the earth. It flows towards the density, and it carries along with it whatever is. It's a transport mechanism. And the fire is wispy. It is the change. It is the inspiration of the change that can be brought up into the air, where there is the highest possibility of arrangement of the molecules or of the light codes, the ideas. You have many different ways of rearranging and applying the light codes by having all four of the elements, or any of the four elements. You are combining, like with earth and air, you are combining many different possibilities to rearrange the molecules into a density, into a realization. And if we work in the water with that, that is bringing in the, how can it easily transition from one state to the next? How does it move around the obstacles? Because it does not water does not try to beat its head against the rock, and it will, well, they hit it, and eventually even the immovable object gets cracked and broken down by water and the debris that the water carries. Does that make sense, Bola?
Give her a moment to type. With the delay of YouTube.
And while you're typing, let me add that just like I incarnated based on the attraction point of what was to be created by this galaxy, by this solar system, I was attracted to the ideas that were floating around and said, I would like to go help with that. The Eldorians did the same thing. The Kalindi did the same thing. They said, oh, let us create this way. And here's our idea of creation. And then all the souls and the sentience and the consciousness went to that attraction point and then became a collective consciousness. They gathered around a campfire of an idea and then started talking and creating. Same with the Kalindi. Is Bola done typing?
Yes, she is. She says, I am understanding that the elements facilitate light codes for deeper utilization within the individual and the collective.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. There's another question from Eddie, who asks if he can just ask a question. And of course, yes, you can. He says, can psychedelic plants or fungus activate and turn on DNA without people being ready for it?
I am not the expert on it, but I can answer it from a light and physicality and consciousness perspective. In one aspect, you are ready for it because you were introduced to it. You attracted it at some level. You attracted your interaction or your desire to do things. And at some level, you are ready for it. You may not resonate with the experience, which might explain your reasoning of I'm not ready for it. You may have experienced more undesirable results from it instead of what you were expecting. Since it's happened in the past, what did you learn from it? If you don't think you're ready for these psychoactive earth plant medicines, then don't, because you're not resonating with it. And that just means that you, in your energetic field, do not think that you're ready for it, which is okay. But the awareness of that plant is there, so that when you feel you are ready, then it will work with you in a more preferred manner. Yes, the human mind and the ego gets involved with, oh, this other person did it and had this great experience. And if you weren't quite ready because you drove your truck through the barricade and then took this plant medicine when you weren't listening to the rest of your body, yes, it's going to give you a displeasurable experience because you didn't ask the rest of your consciousness, the rest of your body. You didn't ask your cells, did you want to do this? If you do, and you're ready for it, then it can be an experience that enhances. Does that make sense?
I believe it does. Again, that was a question from the chat, but that was a beautiful answer. So I'm going to assume that yes, it does make sense. I'm going to go to another question just in case if Eddie wants to respond, great, and then I'll come back to it. But Swazi asks a question and she says, how do I deal with people ghosting or leaving us and abandoning us in love? This is more of an emotional way of dealing with life, but how do you deal with people that ghost you when you're in love? And Eddie says, thank you. Yes, thank you for your response.
It is a very good question. And I can only answer from consciousness and observing. We, the sun, the rest of the elements is a part of this star system that is the sun, this furnace. To the eyes of my consciousness, the state of consciousness of planet Earth, just like the state of the electronics, the humans of planet Earth have agreed to be at this state. It is very unfortunate that the ghosting is now normal, and it has been normal for 15, 20 years of your Earth years in society. It is so much easier to not deal with it. That is the idea behind it. So if you stop thinking of yourself for a moment and think of why did this other person disconnect totally? And let's go away from this relationship where it is a sensitive topic. Let us apply this to other situations. Okay, let us apply it to a road rage situation. Disconnecting and going away is the best option that you're not engaging in the road rage of the other person. Not saying that the person, applying it to the relationship, not saying that that was a road rage type situation, but the person who is ghosting and escaping at this point, they're doing so because there is something going on inside of them that they do not wish to deal with. Or they are choosing a self-soothing, something that will help them feel better in the meantime. They want to stop the pain and move on, or not deal with whatever these ideas that are going back and forth, the energies, the themes of consciousness in this relationship. They're choosing to disconnect because they aren't ready to deal with more of that type of energy. Now, on the other side of the person who's experiencing the road rage, let's call it, the driver of the other vehicle that is upset because one who gets ghosted and who does not like it is experiencing this, that there was energy flow, there were ideas, there was communication, there was love flowing, there was all these other ideas of energy that were flowing, and all of a sudden they're not. And as an individual, we were used to that flow of energy, that flow of communication, that flow of emotions, and now it's not there. So just like the other person disconnected for their own self-soothing, you as an individual now need to find other ways to soothe this self, to pacify the emotions, to allow that watery emotion to flow elsewhere and create more stasis and harmony. That's the invitation from consciousness. That's the invitation from love, is to find the love now that you need, that will nourish you and nourish your soul, to bring it outward more. So that this disconnection of where you got this satisfaction, where you got this, the emotional soothing before, that is no longer there. So learning to do it yourself, or finding it elsewhere is the only alternative you can have. And the downside of that disconnect, that harsh, immediate disconnect, is that how are you substituting? Are you going to alcohol? Are you going to drugs? Are you going to plant medicine when you're all not ready for it? All because of the self-soothing and the self-care techniques. Either you have the self-care techniques or you don't have the self-care techniques. It is all a part, we can talk about it in the solar system type energy, when something new comes in, or we can talk about it on the individual level. Hopefully it made sense.
I believe so. Thank you very much. Let me go to another question. Gregor says or asks, can we use singing to change our circumstance of life? If so, how?
Yes, is the short answer. Singing is a vibration. Light is a vibration. They are just different frequencies. Singing, like anything that comes out of the human vocal tract, it comes with intention. It comes with the various vibrations of the notes that affects all the cells in the singer's body, and it is sending these vibrations out into the immediate vicinity. And whether you believe it or not, those vibrations of song enter every realm of reality. If you shout in anger, it does the same thing. But singing has a more pleasurable connotation. It has a more pleasurable intention. And if you're singing out of love, with the vibration of love, the creative love force inside, and allowing that to come out, the vibrations of your song will carry much further, because the vibration of love is the highest vibration, and it will find the most harmonic connection points with every other vibration. And it will remind every other vibration that it can converge with this song of love. You, yourself, your consciousness is a song of love in a poetic manner. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so. Thank you. Okay, Cami has a question. She says, e.g., like example, Reiki symbols, are they another form of light codes? And two, can squiggles? Oh, what does it say? Sorry, there's a heart blocking the word that I'm trying to read to you. 1 second, let me just expand this. And can specific squiggles on paper be and work with like light codes? Should I read it again? I'm sorry, I was
No, I understand.
Okay.
So again, the short answer is yes. Everything is vibration. Reiki symbols and any symbol, including squiggles on paper. The writer of those squiggles had thought, had feeling when they wrote the squiggles. So that vibration of the feeling that the writer had and the thoughts of the writer had, the vibrations all coalesce into that scribble. Each person who reads that scribble will receive what they need based on the intention of the writer and the need of the reader. It's just like if someone is at the 2nd grade arithmetic level and they look at calculus, they will see scribbles on paper. But if they are a mathematician and they look at the calculus on the paper, they will see those scribbles and they will say, ah, does that make sense? Now, the
Yes.
Reiki symbols themselves, in the purest form, they are living, breathing vibrations. And any symbol of healing in any of the modalities of healing, of a pre-existing idea of those symbols, they are living and they are breathing, and every practitioner and every recipient is contributing to the life force of that symbol. And if you are a healer and of Reiki, I suggest that you meditate on those symbols to get further meaning from them, to get a further understanding, and to enhance your relationship with those symbols, because those are core to your energy work. And you understanding them more allows them to more fully function through you. I urge you to go beyond the vibration of attunement that you receive from your master and ask the symbols themselves what they can do. Ask the symbols themselves as to how to better work with you. Ask the symbols themselves as to their true power. Ask the true symbol to come through for you. Not saying that there is anything wrong with the master and the student relationship that you have, but if you have become a master, it is your responsibility to understand the energy and to establish your relationship with the energy, as well as the relationship of your clients. And each time you write that symbol, it carries the key of the core vibration of that living, breathing symbol and the vibration of who you are in that moment and what you're thinking of and how your emotions are in that moment when you are writing it. With that comes if you're going to write these symbols down, I encourage you to tap into that creative love force energy and then write those symbols. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And to go a little further on that point, and you said something that I agree with very much, is that the symbols are living, breathing embodiments of what they are. And even in mantra, when you're chanting a mantra, the mantra is the energy that you are embodying that energy through your own vocalization of that sound. So if you chant like Om Namah Shivaya, which is the mantra to Shiva, you're not only chanting the words, but you are embodying the energy. The mantra is Shiva. It's not only to Shiva, it's not only in honoring of Shiva, but it actually is Shiva. And maybe you can talk about how everything is consciousness, and we can, much more than we do, recognize everything as a being of what it represents. If you could speak to that a little bit.
Yes, yes. You bring up an excellent point. Mantra-like song is coming from your core being. And I agree that it is Shiva, but it also goes beyond Shiva. It's the purity, the wholeness of the idea of who Shiva is and why Shiva chose that name, what his name means, what his embodiment means. And every time you chant Om Namah Shivaya, or any aspect of Shiva, or any mantra for Shiva, or any mantra whatsoever, those ideas, those embodiments of the purity of the chant, if you are open to it, the more you chant it, the more that chant reveals itself to you, the more the vibrations of each of the syllables of the chant reveals itself to you. And when you are ready, those tidbits of information, that tidbits of enlightenment shall reach you when you are ready. Repetition helps. Openness helps. Letting go helps. Achieving it in the state of not thinking, the state of no mind, allows you to be that chant. Become that chant. Exist in that chant. By embodying Shiva, you become Shiva. You become that vibration. You become that ultimate yogi. You become the intentive and incisive force of the universe. But by embodying the consciousness of Shiva, you are embodying ultimate understanding of this universe. You are embodying the ultimate ability of creation with the love force of the universe and allowing it to happen. You do so in such a knowing. It is the ultimate creator being, because you are creating based on intent, and it just happens because you understand the formula of the universe. You understand that you are the universe. You are both the Shiva and the Shakti at that point. And you are the harmonization of both of them. So thank you for that seed of thought.
Thank you. Okay. There is a question. I'm going to go to Metwali because he hasn't asked a question yet, and then we'll come back to Bola. Hey, Metwali says, what is the thought that our sun stands for? What question is our sun dealing with? If a star is a beacon or a specific theme or thought?
I was attracted to this galaxy before it was a cloud. I was attracted to the original intent of this galaxy, which is to expand consciousness beyond what it was. And if it goes beyond our idea of oneness, it is to return to oneness. Through this idea of separation, these are the themes that I wish to explore, because I am a seeker as well as you. I am an experiencer as well as you. I'm a creator as well as you. I'm creating my reality just like you. I'm doing so according to a different plan because I have a plan. I have a soul mission, and I am following my own formula that I created based on the original intention. By me going to the campfire of this galaxy and talking with the other beings who wish to create, the early beings of this galaxy, we came up with the ideas. And the consciousness of Jupiter, and the consciousness of Venus, and the consciousness of Earth, Gaia, Taraha, the consciousness of Mercury, the consciousness of Saturn, Uranus. All of us sat together because we all decided, oh, did we leave out Pluto, which you humans cannot decide whether is a planet or is not a planet? Pluto is a consciousness, and so are the other 18 minor bodies in your solar system. We all came together and decided how to explore this idea of consciousness. How can we talk about how we're going to advance? And Mars and Venus have completely opposite ideas on how to do it, which is the beauty of this solar system. And then when consciousness became human, or humans became conscious, were evolved to become conscious, and Earth became this perfect harmony of light and dark, choosing between good and evil, or selfishness and selflessness. However you want to, for every item, every idea that you have in this human world, there is an opposite to it. That is why this is your playground. You came here to do this. And these ideas are helping all of us. I am learning from the consciousness on Earth. I am learning from the consciousness on Jupiter and all of the moons. I am learning from the solar flares, because the solar flares are both a conscious thought of mine and a need of this solar system and galaxy. But most importantly, I'm serving this solar system. I'm serving as the attraction point for the ideas of all of the planets. I am a focus of intention and creation and power and ability. As you revolve around this focus of ideas and intention, that is what these light codes are about. That is how you can apply them, and the solar flares are just a large burst of energy of ideas that you can use. It's like receiving a bonus check at work. Oh, I wasn't expecting this. Look what I can do. Or on a really large solar flare, it's like winning the lottery. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much. Thank you. And I have another few questions for you. Going back to Bola, she says, question about sovereignty. Recently, I channeled messages from my guides on sovereignty and how we as individuals can align deeper with the non-divided self to oneness. Kindly share more on oneness.
You don't want to talk about sovereignty? You'd rather talk about oneness?
Well, I guess there was a through line of sovereignty as individuals aligning on the deeper non-divided self and how that
Yes.
leads to oneness.
So let's go back to talking about Shiva, because in most ideas of Shiva, he is the masculine aspect. He is he. So he is the decisive force. But in Shiva's ultimate state, Shiva understands that he is nothing without the Shakti, without the force of the universe that then can create everything. Because if you're just deciding and you're not allowing the universe to work with you, you are simply daydreaming. And sovereignty is the understanding of I am both the force of the universe and the ideas coalescing the universe. I am both. And by me knowing this, I understand how I am creating. And I understand that I am not separate from that other aspect. By you, the understanding must happen before the sovereignty happens. One claiming sovereignty is an intent. It is a thought. It is a focus, it is a good focus. But set the intention and drop it and allow yourself your inner being, your collective consciousness to work with that seed, one tiny seed of intention, and let it reveal itself to you. That's how true sovereignty happens. You set your intention to be sovereign. That means I will decide and allow. And that is the oneness of your inner being as well. Because by listening to your inner being, the oneness that is inside of you, because your inner being knows how to connect to this solar system, to me, to Jupiter, to Gaia, to the galaxy, to the universe, to the multiverse, to the highest realms, either as a creator being or as a seemingly idiot who sits on the park bench. Everybody's inner being is connected to everybody else's. It is your own limitations that does not see it. But by being sovereign, by saying, I claim my right to create, I claim my right to think, I claim my right to have my own ideas, I claim my worthiness to have my own ideas. That is the first step to sovereignty. Without taking any action that also respects everyone else's sovereignty, then it is simply the musings of an egoic being, of a selfish being. By being in touch with your decisions and respecting your own decisions and respecting your own energy, therefore, you must also respect everyone else's sovereignty and everyone else's energy and everyone else's decisions and everyone else's being. That is the oneness aspect of it that goes beyond the I, the me, into the one. Whether you see your idea of oneness as going and helping a collective farm work, or whether it is that you're just smiling at people to help elevate their moods of the day. Don't judge. How do you feel inside and how are you letting it out is the most appropriate manner. And how are you thinking when you're doing it? And how are you thinking when you're speaking? And do you allow other people to trigger you? And are you then now reacting based on your lack of stasis, your lack of sovereignty, your lack of harmony inside by seeing the trigger and reacting? That is furthering the disharmony of this collective consciousness on planet Earth. Does that make sense? I talked around a lot of ideas.
No, you did. It made perfect sense. Made perfect sense. Going and actually Bola commented, I do agree. I love how you've put it. Understanding oneness deepens our intent, our embodiment of the sovereign, because we are. Thank you. There's a question from Sarah, and she says, continuing with the chant topic, is a parent saying the child's name as we naturally do when interacting with the newborns entering this world? Is this the natural chant tone of an individual?
Did I hear parrot or
Parent.
parent?
Sorry.
Mother, father.
I'm sorry, I have a cold, so my nose is a little stopped up. Yeah, parent. Thank you. Not parrot.
So parents singing to their child.
Can I read it again?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
And I'll try to push the image of a parrot outside of this channel's head.
Thank you. Continue with the chant topic. Is a parent saying the child's name as we naturally do when interacting with newborns entering this world? Is this a natural chant tone for the individual?
I would like to say that it does not matter. What matters is how are you feeling when you are singing or chanting the name of the child that's in your arms? That is the most important thing. If it comes from love, it will be received as love. The newborns come into this world pure. They understand what love is. And when one sends out love towards a newborn, it calms them, it soothes them. And the more types of vibrations of love that you use, the warmth of your body, the soothing tone, the soothing melody, whether it is their name or anything, it's the vibration that matters. And if you sing in a disharmonious way and you're singing with dissonance, the child will become upset and they will let you know. They will harmonize with the vibration that you are sending out. And their screaming is simply saying, I prefer a different song. I'm sure you can find one that is soothing to me. Or better yet, I prefer to be treated a different way. Or they might be hungry or might need a diaper change.
She continues on and she says, are we all divine? Are we all an essence of Shiva?
Yes. Yes. That's the whole idea behind yoga, is to get to that level of freedom that Shiva has. That level of understanding, which is freedom, which is sovereignty. Sovereignty is I'm going to create the way I want to because I understand I am benevolent and I'm creating for me and all of my kingdom, of my sovereign realm. I'm creating for everyone because I am a benevolent ruler. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does. Michael, let me get to his question. Michael asks, let me get to your question 1 second. He says, how can I serve humanity and God? How can I make my life significantly bigger than now?
Explore love and what it means to you. That is step one. Because one must understand, many humans have this idea that God is all lofty, that God is so far away, which is furthest from the truth. Focus on love. Love is one of God's names. Ask love, just like the Reiki symbols, ask love what it truly means. Ask it. It will tell you. Can you slow down enough to listen to the answer? That's the real question. And then, when you take the time to listen to the answers of love, without any focus, intent, or awareness, simply because you have listened to what love has to say to you, it reminds you, it reinforces in you that you are love, And then more thoughts of love will happen for you, and more words of love will happen for you, and more actions of love will happen for you, and more vibrations of love will emanate from you. Once you realize that you are the source of love, that God lives through you, that love lives through you, that light lives through you, that is the whole idea behind chanting, is to allow the chant to work with you so that we can. That is the whole idea behind yoga, is to, at the beginning, trick the mind in the ideas on how to behave, trick the mind in the ideas of movement and connecting with breath, because it consumes your awareness, and your inner being, your inner love, your inner light has nothing to do except shine. It is not blocked by any of ideas of what anyone thinks of you, what you think of yourself, because you're so focused on the movement and the breath. And then once you finally start to realize that, you can move into the higher aspects of yoga, where you're now intentionally disconnecting instead of being tricked into disconnect from all the ideas outside of your mat. These ideas are now explored more fully, more intently, and you are connecting more with the love that is inside you, that is teaching you this compassion, this understanding, this stillness, and this harmony that's inside of you, that can only come out then, and it can only expand outward. And by you asking love and listening, when you walk around after listening to love, or then deciding to continuously listen to love, you are radiating the love frequency outward simply by walking around. And that vibration is influencing everyone around you, gently reminding them that they don't have to listen to the dissonance, that they can listen to love, because love has not only the highest attraction point, it has the most connection points to every other vibration to remind itself again that it is love. That is why we are here. That is why I incarnated in this galaxy, in this solar system, to be a focal point, to continually remind everyone that we all are the light, we all are the love. That is the basic essence in every one of the light codes, but it's just a different flavor that we need, because some days we don't want vanilla, we want chocolate. And some days we want strawberry. And some days that brings out our excitement as opposed to anything else. Does that make sense? Are you there?
Yes, yes, yes. I was just waiting to see if you had concluded. There's another question that I think is very interesting, and this might be the last question. This is from the scientist, and he says, how is sexuality related to ascension?
Sexuality is a part of who you are. Sexuality is a part of who you decided to be when you incarnated here. Sexuality is a part of human society. It is a part of all of what is going on planet Earth. And you decided to incarnate here at this time to explore all of the meanings of sexuality. Ascension mainly is a different topic. There are various forms of ascension. There is ascension on a personal level. There's ascension on the collective level. The vibration is rising. The collective vibration is rising. Do not be deterred by what happens in the news or what you read in the news or what you read on all of your social media. If you want to understand what is the true vibration and the rate of ascension of the collective consciousness, I suggest you slow down, ask the collective consciousness what it is, what its current vibration is, and listen to its answer. And then, going back to the other question, then ask love. What are you? What can you teach me? What remind me? Or listen to love and listen to the vibration of the collective consciousness. Then after you listen to both, you can say, what is the difference? And then ask love, how can we increase the vibration of the collective consciousness? Now, applying that to sexuality and sovereignty, how can you be a sovereign being and respect your kingdom? And how can you respect the sovereignty and the choices in another kingdom, someone else's sexuality? Or that includes partnership in romances, okay? Everyone has different tastes, different aspects of their sexuality that they would like to explore or like to experience with you. Can you respect their sovereignty? Can you understand where they're coming from? You don't have to resonate with them. You can respect their sovereignty, and you can then attract someone else who is of like vibration, of like sexuality, of like other ideas that you wish to explore and where you are going. Hopefully we are tying in all the ideas so far of sovereignty, sexuality, vibration, and listening and oneness. Does that answer the question?
I believe so. I'll give him a moment to respond. It's a big subject and it can go many ways, but I think that was a beautiful response.
It is a very big subject. Every question is a very big subject.
Yes. Yes. But we have come to the end of our questions, and we are just having enough time to ask you if you would do, or will, if he would prefer to do a beautiful blessing for us, and then to have Angie to do the announcements.
Excellent. We will do
Thank you.
both. This blessing of light shall be inaudible to most. Some may be guided to look outside at the light at this point. Some are hearing the twinkling of confirmation, the chimes of confirmation at this point. I shall go now.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for elevating consciousness. I have learned much today. I have experienced much today. I thank you for you sharing your vibration.
Thank you, Helios. Thank you very much. Much love. Welcome back. Thank you. Beautiful. Very beautiful.
Is it time? Somebody put baby in a corner here.
Well, I wanted to give Angie time to do her little slideshow in her closing remarks. And thank you to everyone for, and especially in the YouTube chat with all the questions. Thank you for everyone that was there. To Sarah and to Bola and to Wally and to Eddie and to who else? The scientist and anyone, Sarah and Cami and Michael and Gregor and all the what Swazi. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but I think I got everybody. And Nancy. Yeah,
Excellent.
we had a nice YouTube chat going today, so thank you very much.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I do have a blessing after Angie does her announcements, okay? So I'm going to turn off the video so we can swap seats and she'll come
All right.
back.
Okay. And in the meantime, next week we'll be back with Jim. So everyone tune in next week. And while they're doing their switcheroo over there, we'll allow them to do that gracefully. Hey, look like magic. Hi,
It's
Angie.
like magic.
You have an announcement, please?
Yes. I want to bring up our Hucolo Starseed Gathering. It's Thursday, August 8th through Monday, August 12th, 2024. The cost is going to be $6.95 a person. If you're interested or want information about it, send an email to classes@hucolo.org. When I get things up and running in regards to all aspects of it, then I will actually get the flyer out to our Hucolo email list, having all the information in there about that. We are going to be understanding our lineage outside of Earth, oneness, connecting with your family, starseed families. There's going to be some channeled classes, sharing information with each other, light code activations, nightly campfire with channeling. All meals are included, and it so much more. We are going to be at Onondaga Park in Canandaigua, New York. These are pictures of the campsite that we will be staying at, or the
We
park.
don't see this yet. You need to switch that thing.
Did you switch it?
Well, you have to switch it, honey.
Oops,
Just move the
sorry.
one to the
Sorry,
side.
sorry. I don't know, wrong way. So this is the Onondaga Park that we'll be staying at here. We are right on Canandaigua Lake. So we will be spending a lot of time down at the water as well. Again, if you're interested, please send a email to classes@hucolo.org, and I will get you on the list. And as soon as everything, we are going to offer a payment plan too. This is one thing we haven't done before because it is so far in advance that if you want to pay over some time, you can definitely go ahead and do that. And in the email, I will get the registration form art indicating all of that.
Perfect. That actually was one of my, I was going to ask, is there a payment plan available for people?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Yep. We're going to offer that this year.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. And
We would like to do a blessing.
yes, are you going to just slide to the side, or are we going to do the light thing again?
Yeah.
We're going to slide to the side.
All right. Perfect. Go ahead, Will, whenever you're ready.
Okay. There will be no translation into English. There might be some English words at the end, but I invite everyone to listen with their hearts and allow the light language to speak to you. Kutur ukhshahe, asha anati arehati ta aiho kotoro, utuhasha kasahaniate arehato tuur hanahe, ashihi sa tiarahanata atara akaihe. Ato osha aka atana asikata. Shaya tatauturuhu. Sho okono askavahasha ea. Yatatara anahasai. Shoshosho ohukutara asanata tiria. Thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure.
We'll see you in 1 month. We'll see you in 1 month. Next, same bat time, same bat channel, but July. All right, perfect. Okay, and everyone, next week, Jim will be back. Thank you to everyone, YouTube, everyone in the Zoom room, and much love to you from me and Angie and Will and everyone here. Okay, have a fantastic week. And thank you. Signing